Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm the obscure Joe PT and let me welcome you to the BenchART channel. So for today what we have here is Dreamfall chapters running on our desktop, and so Dreamfall chapters, in this case it's the Final Cut version. It is developed by the Red Thread Games and it is using Unity 5 engine. At first this game was released with Unity 4, but with the release of Unity 5 and the needed optimization that this game was requiring, the Red Thread team had ended up porting the game to Unity 5, and this Final Cut version, it is the optimization and the fact of taking advantage of the newer version of the engine and fixing a lot of bugs. That is why this version was released, and for all the users that had the game before on Steam, this is a free update. Although, despite all the optimization and improvements, we are currently running the game with the minimum settings possible. This is 720p and we can't go any lower than this, with all the settings on the minimum, so there are no shadows, textures, and everything is on the minimum possible. Okay, unfortunately in any other case I would raise the texture quality, but it's not possible because the texture quality in this game is tied to the visual quality setting, and that visual quality setting improves many other stuff like shaders, textures, some sort of shader effects. So there are a lot of effects going on that are raised aside from textures. Okay, so I can't really raise that up because it impacts the frame rate. Okay, so as you can see, we are currently in Aeropolis. Aeropolis is one of the city hubs of the game, so basically you have multiple cities where you can go, let's say. For example, in this case in Aeropolis we have this city, you can go to clubs and many other places, and these places are pretty much the most demanding sequences of this game. Okay, either way we are running the game below 30 FPS, but keep in mind that we are using OBS to record. Okay, OBS can take like 3 to 5 FPS when we are recording. Okay, and if you want to check those results without recording, it's on the description of the video. Okay, so talking about the game itself, what is this game? Dreamfall Chapters. This is an adventure game, more than less like a point-and-click 3D game. So think of this like a Life is Strange, but a little bit more complex in its gameplay. So we kind of have cities, as you can see, where you can explore and do tasks for multiple users. So it's more complex than Life is Strange. You can actually make decisions that affects the future, but I don't think you can go back in time. But personally, yes, there are other games that are more related with this one, but since Life is Strange is so famous, I think it makes sense to explain to most of the users that, oh, this is like Life is Strange, but it is more advanced and also more demanding. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do is to explore a little bit the city, since this is the most demanding thing that it's going to happen in this game. It's the cities. I'm going to explore a little bit. Okay, so you can see no shadows, completely bold details everywhere, but it still looks fine. The frame rate, despite being lower than 30 FPS, it's actually fine, because this is not a game that you are required to shoot or you are required to fight. That is something that it's not going to happen too much or at all in this game. So you are not required to have a great frame rate. Of course, above 30 FPS would be the minimum recommended, but since we are not getting the 30s, the question is, can we play this game even having frame rates like 25? The answer is yes, you can. I don't think that it's going to break the game down. Talking about breaking the game down, the game just broke down when I was recording at the time and just crashed. This only happened to me when I was recording. Okay, so I started the game again and started to record at the same place and it was fine. And it's pretty much like this. So I'm going to play until the end of the road. You can book the performance, and as soon as this finishes I will start the chapter 1, which is less demanding. Okay, and we will see a little bit more about the history and gameplay of the game. Okay guys, so hope you enjoy the rest of the video. I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
They say that every story has a beginning and an end, but that isn't always the case. Some stories simply stop. My name is Zoe Castillo. I'm dying. I've been in a coma for over a year. The doctors don't believe I'll ever wake up again. My mother did this to me. She put me here so that I wouldn't be able to tell my story, so that she could keep her secrets. It worked. The world is addicted to dreams, to dream time. It's just entertainment. They have no idea what the dream machine is really for and what it's doing to the world. They don't know that someone is stealing their dreams, using them to reshape reality. So, if I'm in a coma, how am I talking to you? The thing is, my body may be here in a hospital, but my mind is elsewhere. This is the story time. It's the place between. And it's my home now. This place where all stories begin and end, including mine. Sleeping Beauty. Coma as a fashion statement? No, that's awful. But I honestly do look better on my deathbed. That was taken when Reza and I were still dating. Feels like a different life. People keep bringing flowers. So funereal, wonkers. My old Watilla. Dad, Gabrielle, stops by every day. Keeps apologizing. That machine is all that stands between me and 6 feet under. It feeds my comatose body a fun cocktail of life-saving narcotics. I don't know if that's how I actually look out there or if it's just wishful thinking. Everything in here is made of dreams. Someone's having a nightmare about a dying child. That must be absolutely terrifying. This is a dream. Your baby will be okay. She's all alone. I know that feeling. You're not alone. There are people out there you can connect with, but you need to stop using the dream machine first. It's not helping you. Trapped, burned alive. That's a terrifying nightmare. There's no fire and you're not dying. It's only a nightmare. You've been using the dreamer too much. It's messing with your head. Ugh, I used to have this dream all the time. Naked, exposed. It's worse than it sounds. This isn't real. No one can see you. You'll wake up soon and everything will be fine. But you should stop using the dream machine or the nightmares will continue. What are you doing? Stop following me. Turn around, go back, wake up. I said stop. I can't help you anymore. You're on your own now. For fuck's sake, people, go away. Please. This dream is different. It's more persistent. And the dream map, it's a child. Oh, great. I'll need to go in and untangle it. Stop. Don't come any closer. Leave me be. There are too many of you. I can't help everyone. Just go away.
Save me! Shh. Don't make a sound. It will hear you.
Who will?
The monster in the closet. It will hear you and eat us both.
She's already scared, but she needs to understand how dangerous the dream machine is. She's scared enough already, poor girl. I promise it won't hurt you.
You swear?
I swear. I won't let it. But you need to get back home.
I can't find my way.
The way back is through there, through the wardrobe.
I can't go in there. It will eat me alive.
Not if we destroy it first. Don't worry. And whatever's in there, it's no match for me, I promise.
Are you like a superhero?
Something like that. What do you think of my costume?
It's really cool.
Light could work, but I don't think there's anything to draw on there. That thing is darkness, through and through. It would need to come from somewhere else. Oh, that light's too weak to have an effect on Mr. Great Old One. Oh, she must be terrified. Poor girl. She had a light. Oh, she dropped it. It rolled away. She doesn't know where it is. She won't go looking for the light herself. She's afraid of the slithering things in the dark. Hey, who can blame her? Oh, it's too dark. Can't see anything. Bingo. Bringer of light, emissary of electricity, the mighty torch. Torch, flashlight, beacon. It's hiding, stupid smart tentacle thingy. It's too quick for me. Yeah, it's working. Cool.
No, don't get too close. It will take you.
You're safe now.
Thank you. But I don't know how to get back home. I don't know where my mummy is.
She's on the other side of the wardrobe, waiting for you.
It's scary.
Come on. Do you use a dream machine?
Mum makes me. She says it keeps me occupied. Then she has time to play with hers.
The next time she does that, you need to say no.
She won't like that.
Maybe not, but you tell her it's dangerous, that it gives you nightmares.
I could tell Daddy. He doesn't live with us, but I talk to him all the time.
You do that. Now go through and you'll wake up again.
Thank you. What's your name?
Zoe. And remember, no dream time. I might not be able to find you again. This has to stop.
boys and girls, welcome to the performance section of the video. So I will start with the most lightweight parts that I benchmarked. It was the chapter 1. So I tried the game with 720p with the low settings and the minimum. So the low settings have the volumetric whitening at low and it has a shadow distance of 1 meter. I don't see any shadow at 1 meter of distance, not even from Zoe, which is the main character. So you can try to reduce the stuff to minimum, so you can try to put the shadow distance to 0% and you need to put the volumetric whitening to very low. So this is the difference that I made between the low and the minimum, and this grants me a good boost in FPS. For example, on the chapter 1 my average with the minimum it was 31, while with the low settings the average was 27.5. Okay, so it seems that reducing the draw distance of the shadows to 0 meters and reducing the volumetric whitening to very low really improves performance, and especially on the open world part, which is on Aeropolis. So you can see that with the minimum settings I got an average of 30s, which is acceptable, and 1% low was at 19, while for example the low settings what we got was an average of 24, which is pretty much less 5-6 frames per second, and a 1% low of 15. So 1% low of 15, this is not good, okay? So it's not that we couldn't play the game like that, it's not enjoyable. I mean, Dreamfall Chapters is not really that type of game that you need to shoot, it's not really the type of game that you need to fight, it's a story-based game, you don't really need a very high frame rate, but obviously you all like to play the games above the 30s, but in this case it's a little bit complicated, okay? So what can I tell more now about this? So let's talk a little bit now about consistency of the frame rate. So the minimum settings, if you want to target at 30 FPS, well, there is no other way. 33% of the frames was lower than 30 FPS, while the low settings it was most of the time lower than 73%. This was a mix between Aeropolis and the chapter 1, okay? And as for example for the 25 FPS consistency, the minimum settings is just 5% lower, and while the low settings it was 27. So without doubt the best way to play this game is with the minimum settings. The VRAM usage, unfortunately it was at 300 megabytes. I couldn't raise the textures without raising all the other stuff that made the game more demanding, so unfortunately we really need to go with these textures despite our VRAM would allow it. The RAM usage was around 3.6, so if you have 4 GB of RAM you can play the game. CPU usage was fine between the 20s and 50%, and GPU usage it was at 99%. So boys and girls, that's all that I want to talk about Dreamfall Chapters, and the answer is yes, you can play the game with the minimum settings, okay, and the frame rate sometimes going lower than 30 FPS, but it's not bad, okay, you can play it. That's the final answer. So that's all guys, hope you did enjoy the video, and if you want to support the channel, which is very important for games that you usually request, just be my patron or donate via PayPal, or if you buy games through Kinguin, there is a link in here that should help me out if you buy games. Okay, thank you a lot for watching, and we hope to see you soon. Goodbye.